Hello, this is Jam Master Daniel 96, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Obi Wan TV series that was announced at D23 last week. So let's begin. As we all know, that last week the big news dropped that we will be getting an Obi Wan TV series with Ewan McGregor reprising his role as Obi Wan Kenobi in the Disney Plus Obi Wan TV series, and this will be set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and it has been said that the show will take place about 8 years after Revenge of the Sith, and this will take place in about 11 BBY, as Revenge of the Sith takes place about in 19 BBY, which is 19 years before the Battle of Yavin, as you know, episode 3 takes place 19 years before A New Hope. So this show will take place about 11 years before A New Hope and 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. And I mean, we'll pretty much see what Obi-Wan's life was like on Tatooine. I mean, we'll get to see him watch over Luke and all that, and then maybe, we get to see why Uncle Owen didn't like Obi-Wan and stuff, as we've heard and all that, like how Uncle Owen really didn't like Obi-Wan and stuff like that. I mean, we'll probably see maybe the Jawas and all that, the Tusken Raiders and all that. We get maybe the Dewbacks and all that, so like stuff like that. We could see, I mean, maybe, we could see Jabba the Hutt in the show, like get to see a more crime underworld aspect to the show. We could see stuff like that. I mean, we could probably maybe see Watto again, like Watto, who Anakin was a slave of, who we saw in the Phantom Menace and in Attack of the Clones. So, I mean, maybe bring back Watto would be another idea. See what he's up to around this time period in between episodes 3 and 4. I mean, we could see what the life of Tatooine is like, so we get to see, more of Tatooine than we've seen, and, get to see more of the life than we see in the movies. I mean, because that will be pretty much the main setting of the show is Tatooine. I mean, Obi-Wan could leave the planet on a rare occasion, but mostly he was, on Tatooine to watch over Luke, and that's pretty much his main priority. But we could see what other, what kind of adventures he had on Tatooine, and for like stuff like that. And then for characters, maybe we could see in the show. I mean, maybe Obi-Wan reunites with Ahsoka, and I mean the only challenge that if introducing Ahsoka, I mean, you can't have Obi-Wan tell Ahsoka that Anakin is Darth Vader, so we can't tell something like that. I mean, so kind of Ahsoka will have to. I mean, Obi-Wan will sort of have to tell Ahsoka that like Anakin died or something. Kind of, like to know, like kind of Obi-Wan would have to hide the truth from Ahsoka, so it'd have to be something along the lines of that, because as we know in Rebels that Ahsoka finds out Anakin is Darth Vader, as we see in the episode where, Ahsoka fights her former master Anakin. So, I mean, so it'd have to be something like that. And I know a lot of fans want to see Ahsoka in the live action, but the only obstacle you have to do is you can't have Ahsoka find out that Anakin is Darth Vader just yet. And another thing I know fans want in the Obi-Wan show is that they want to see Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight, but that was already in Rebels, and the only way they could do it if the show has multiple seasons, and then maybe if they go like more further in the time period between episodes 3 and 4, like because I know Rebels, the first season takes place about 5 years before A New Hope, and where that episode in season 3 was about, I'd say, kind of close to A New Hope, like maybe about a year or two before A New Hope. And so, I mean, and plus in this show, Obi-Wan looks more like Alec Guinness from A New Hope. So, I mean, it wouldn't kind of, I'd say, they'd have to make Ewan McGregor look older in the show to make the, for all the continuity and all that. And then, they would pretty much the only way you can have Obi-Wan fight Darth Maul in that show is adapt that episode in live action. Maybe we get to see, Ezra in the live action for once. But I mean, I just think there would be a lot of challenges to overcome with that. And as I said, the only way it would have to happen if the show has more than one season and goes further, and as goes like even further in the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope of Obi-Wan's adventures in that time period. And I mean, as I said, and then pretty much that's the only way they could have Darth Maul in the show, but that's pretty much the only way they could do it and work their way around it. And I know another pretty much big one that might show up in the show is Darth Vader, but I would be kind of skeptical to have Darth Vader. I mean, because I don't want it to undermine their meeting in A New Hope, because by the lines that Vader says to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, I was once the learner, now I am the master, because pretty much that would probably be referring to episode 3, as we know, as where Anakin was the apprentice and Obi-Wan was the master during the events of Revenge of the Sith. So I just don't think we should have an Obi-Wan and Vader duel in the Kenobi series. And the only way I think they should show, I mean, the other thing I forgot to add about, another thing that is Darth Vader says in says in A New Hope, I haven't felt a presence I've felt in a long time, as when they're on the Death Star, because probably he senses as he senses Obi-Wan's presence. And also, I mean, I just don't think a lightsaber duel with Obi-Wan and Vader in the Kenobi series would work out, in my opinion. The best way they could do it is maybe have an Inquisitor character, like an Inquisitor we haven't seen before, that is hunted to track down Obi-Wan, and then maybe Obi-Wan leaves Tatooine, and then maybe, he's with a Order 66 survivor, and then they encounter an Inquisitor, and then maybe Obi-Wan defeats him, but the only thing is that it would be kind of a one-off episode. And another maybe character they could do is maybe they could bring Galen Merrick, aka Starkiller, back into canon. But the only thing, I mean, Starkiller's story would have to be tweaked for him to fit into the new canon. Because, I mean, as in the Force Unleashed game, as he goes from Vader's secret apprentice, he helps form the Rebel Alliance, and the Force Unleashed is the expanded universe / legend story on how the rebellion forms, and Rebels is the new canon version on how the Rebel Alliance forms. So really they would have to have Starkiller strictly stay as Darth Vader's secret apprentice, and maybe that they could introduce that and bring Sam Witwer to play Galen Merrick, aka Starkiller, and if they introduce him in the Kenobi series, and then maybe Obi-Wan and Galen Merrick encounter each other, and then even though that's going to apply to the Inquisitor idea I just brought up, I mean, that would be a way to do it. And Starkiller was originally going to be in the Rebels TV series as an Inquisitor, but Sam Witwer said why they dropped it, because it didn't fit the story they were trying to tell. So maybe they could revisit the idea of bringing Starkiller back into canon via the Kenobi series, and I think maybe he could be a good villain, and Starkiller could be a good villain for maybe a Kenobi series, and I mean they could go along the lines of that maybe. And I mean those are my ideas on who should show up in the Kenobi show, and I'm pretty excited for this, and I think this could be pretty good at Obi-Wan's show. And I know a lot of fans have been wanting it, like, like, because I know, remember, like, before the Han Solo movie, before Solo came out, that a lot of people wanted an Obi-Wan movie than a Han Solo movie, which, in my opinion, I mean, I did enjoy Solo, but I think a Kenobi movie would have succeeded at the box office more than Solo. But I mean, this could be, why they're doing an Obi-Wan series instead of an Obi-Wan movie, probably because of Solo's box office flop. I mean, that's why I think why Rogue One did better for a standalone movie, probably because they had to have like Darth Vader and stuff, and I feel like Solo pretty much didn't have much. I mean, you could blame the whole probably the short amount of time for marketing, and I mean, Chewbacca was probably the only marquee character in a different guy playing Han Solo and Lando, but that's a whole different discussion for another time about Solo and all that. But pretty much with the Kenobi series, I mean, as I said, I mean, I'm excited for it, and it will begin production next year, and this will come out in like 2021. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel and comment what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video.